Oh no. Here we go. After school. Class ended and I visited the science club before returning to my apartment. When I did, something strange happened. When I inserted the key and turned it, I didn't feel any resistance. Well, that was strange. I was sure I had locked it when I left. Normally, one would think there may have been a robber or something. I was pretty sure it wasn't, so I opened the door without much concern. Well, if you know someone who he says I'm home.
おかえりなさい、兄さん。
Like when you know someone's probably gonna be there because they have a key to your place. I mean, sure enough, Saki was in my apartment. Normally, she would have been sitting on the sofa, but today she was laying on my bed for some reason. She probably took care of things with the guy who gave her that letter. So, did something happen, or?
別に。いつも通りすっぱり切り捨ててきただけよ。
You shouldn't have been talking that mad shit about me, though. Though that's what she said, she still seemed grumpy as she lounged around on my bed with a portable game console in hand. Oh, I didn't know she played the video games. I could hear the jaunty music of a puzzle game. Oh, a puzzle game. Never mind. Coming from the console. Even as I took off my coat, Saki didn't move from where she laid. If you want to talk about it, I'll listen.
まあ、面白い話ではなかったけど、兄さんにみっともなく愚痴るほどのことでもなかったわ。
I see. I had thought that maybe she was down because something had happened when she went to turn the guy down. I thought that was the reason why she came to my apartment. She doesn't really need a reason.
ええ。この後もしつこいようだったらまだ考えるけど、もう関係もない相手だし。
Damn. Well, if you're saying that, then that's fine. Did it mean that she was confident enough that she was able to say he had nothing to do with her? But if she was even slightly worried about something, she would probably say so. So, Saki, why are you on my bed? Although she had a key, it was rare for her to come in when I wasn't here. When she did, it was always because she wanted to complain or she was thinking of something unpleasant.
それが何か兄さんとすることがあったはずなんだけど、全然思い出せなくて。
Saki looked at me from where she was on the bed. I gave an involuntary start and wondered if she noticed.
ねえ、兄さん。私と夢で一体どんな話をしたの？
Nothing. Absolutely nothing. I told you I'm not going to say anything until you remember yourself. I went to get a change of clothes. Saki saw me pass by and changed the direction she was facing without getting up from lying on her stomach. She followed me with her eyes as I moved around, like a dog or a cat that was lying down.
ねえ、兄さんが隠してるのって大事なことじゃないの？
No. For the time being, it's not important. It wasn't about Maya, so it was just a dream. You waited because you were worried about that? When I took out my clothes off a hanger, I looked at Saki. I saw them, because she'd been rolling around on the bed. Her skirt had been pulled up and her butt was almost completely exposed. Perfect! Blue, thin as string on the sides. I couldn't see if there was a ribbon on the front. Okay, seemed like there wasn't much fabric to them. Because of that, even though she was slender, I was able to see her butt quite well. Yes! Okay, so it's probably exactly those panties, so, Dream Saki and this Saki, they're real. Confirmation! Or not real. I mean, they're the same person. Her underwear seemed to be of fairly good quality. It's because she can afford that. The material was thin and stuck to her body, so I could see the shape quite clearly. Saki didn't appear to notice, and she gave me a strange look when I immediately turned away. But she must realize from how I was acting, because from the edge of my vision, I saw the corners of her mouth raise into a smile. Yep. She looked just like a cat who had spotted its prey.
どうしたの、兄さん。なんでこっちを見てくれないの？
Oh, she's giving me the runaround. What? I seem to remember there being some black tea left. I knew perfectly well that wasn't a natural response, but I ignored Saki and headed for the kitchen.
何を恥ずかしがってるのよ。別に兄さんになら見られてもいいのに。
I know! I know! What are you talking about, Saki? I didn't see anything. No, she knew that I'd seen them. It was my fault for getting embarrassed and looking away. So I had no choice but to pretend I hadn't seen anything before Saki said something else. Rather, I couldn't think of anything else to do. For now, I decided to really boil some water so I could drink something to calm myself down. Just then.
さっきの角度だと、リボンがついてたかどうかは見えなかったんじゃないの？
Are you shitting me right now? The kettle slipped from my hand and fell into the kitchen sink. Whoa! Oh. When I turned around, Saki was right behind me and looked up at me with a very nice smile and smile on her face. I tried to back away, but my back was already pressing against the kitchen. No!
確か夢の中で今日着る予定の下着を兄さんに教えたと思うんだけど、きちんと覚えてるかしら。
You little shit, you knew this whole time. Saki pinched the hem of her skirt and lifted it up a little at a time. No! Stop! If her hands went a little higher, I would end up seeing the other side. Saki! Do you understand what you're doing right now?
同じ夢を見ているかどうかの確認よね。
Well, clearly we are. Okay, I remember. Don't worry. There, that's enough, isn't it, please? I took Saki's hand from her skirt, forcing her to drop it.
やだ、兄さんってば強引なんだから。
Who was it that was trying to use an even more forceful method? I was completely confused. There was a sense of longing, a feeling of panic, and a tinge of excitement for having seen something that felt so wrong to see. As though she knew what I was thinking, Saki peered up at me joyfully.
こんなこと許すの、兄さんだけなのよ。
I know, but no. You don't have to let me see it so easily either. I let go of her hands and her expression stayed the same, but she seemed annoyed.
そんなに見たくないの？
No, well, it's not that I don't want to. Wait, what are you doing? Why couldn't I lie and say that I didn't want to see? Because, But for some reason, Saki was undoing her buttons. Whoa!
ないならいいじゃない。上もお揃いって言ったでしょ？
Wait, this isn't matched at all! That's not okay! Wait, you know what I mean? I mean, that's not... jeez.
二人っきりだものね。何があっても邪魔も入らないし。妹の下着姿に兄さんってば興奮するんだ。私、どうなっちゃうのかしら。
You goddamn temptress. That's not the point. No, fine, let's say it is.
兄さんのエッチ。
What? Why are you still undoing your buttons while you say that? Apparently teasing me was too much fun because she didn't stop. He just collapses on the ground from seeing so much. Oh my god, why are we still here? Well, okay, so it is the same then. I guess it is is it supposed to be, it's supposed to be blue, right? I mean, I get, maybe the, it's probably the lighting that's making it not, so I should stop, it's in the little And so, I was able to confirm that she had a matching bra. Even the part about there being ribbons on the front was the same. There were even strings on either side, and it looked like it would fall off if one of them came undone. Thanks, I needed that. That was actually very, very important information that I needed. I was on my knees next to my bed, with my upper body sprawled out on it.
ほんと、この程度で大げさなんだから。
He's actually dead. Saki said in annoyance as she sat on the bed and fixed her disheveled clothes. I swear, I hardly touched her. All I did was grab her hands to try and stop her. Even now, Saki's feet were in front of me, and if she opened her legs a little wider, I would be able to see the inside of her skirt, but it doesn't really matter because I've already seen it. Well, I did see it a little earlier. A little? A little? Huh? Not a lot. What is it with you intentionally showing me your underwear? It wasn't an appropriate thing for an adolescent girl to do.
結局見せるんだから抵抗しないで見ちゃえばよかったじゃない。なんでそんなに嫌がるのよ。
I told you before, I'm a guy too. We were alone in my apartment with no one to disturb us. I wasn't of such a noble mind that I could say that my steadfast resolve definitely wouldn't have wavered.
男ってそういう意味で？
Got her blushing. Still slumped over, I gave a slight nod. I was afraid to look up. Saki petted me on the head.
ふーん、そっか。そうなんだ。
So please, stop casually doing stuff like this. I'm serious.
どうしようかしら。
When I looked up cautiously, I was relieved that Saki was now wearing all of her clothes. I was worried about what would have happened if she got carried away and stripped down to nothing when I wasn't stopping her.
だけど、私は覚えてなくても、やっぱり兄さんと同じ夢を見てるのね。
Okay, so she remembered that specific detail, but not the full, but not, everything, or all the dreams, in fact, which we know she doesn't remember all the dreams. Yeah, looks that way. It had been turmoil for me, but at least we figured that out, so it hadn't been for nothing. I had been wondering if it could have been true, but even if she didn't remember it, we were having the same dreams. It seemed to be a good thing that we knew that now. However, well, now you understand why I was tired this morning, right? Saki had seen Alice, and I hardly hold on, let me Saki had seen Alice, and I hardly able to move from the sofa, or so I thought.
ほんと、下着の話したくらいであんなに疲れてるだなんてしょうがないんだから。
え？
何よ？違うって言うの？
Didn't I collapse with Alice? Saki's expression darkened from the rather composed look she'd had until now. She had just not said anything.
兄さん、アリスさんと疲れるまで一体何をしてたの？
Yeah, I just shouldn't have said anything. I told you in the dream. Do you only remember the part about the underwear?
何よ？一体何があったの？そもそもどうして夢の中で下着の話になんてなったのよ？
Well, you brought up the underwear part, but that was all your fault. In the end, whether we had the same dream or not, it didn't look like I'd be able to escape outrageousness like this. Nope. Okay. That was actually a really big change. I'm glad don't even Kaiko, stop. I know, Kaiko, it's fine. We've seen that before, which is why we're going to skip to what's the next? I'll be right back. I will get there. Aha! I had a feeling this was gonna be the next choice, which of course, when we do the key thing, and we pick the key to my apartment because Saki. I reached for the familiar-looking stainless steel key. No matter how you looked at it, this was the key to my apartment. The keys I hadn't chosen melted away without a sound, but the key in my hand remained.
その鍵は一体誰に通じてるのかしら。お兄ちゃんにとって当たりだといいわね。
Well, I mean, probably the biggest smash. Maya! Her grinning mouth disappeared, leaving only the joyful echoes of her voice behind. I could no longer touch Maya, even if I reached out for her. More importantly, As soon as Maya was gone, the space around me looked like it would crumble at any moment. Yeah, damn it, where does this go? Well, we're gonna find out. I hurriedly flew to the entrance and exit doors. If I guessed right, the doors should open with this. As the space slowly melted, I tried to shove the key into the lock, but because I was in such a hurry, the key wouldn't go in. Damn it! Ah! My hands were slippery, but I somehow got the key in. I turned it until it made a clicking sound. And I somehow jumped through the doors before the space crumbled completely. Alright, let's see what kind of scene this leads to. For a moment, I felt a floating sensation. When that ended, oh, no, I'm here. Ah, safety. Huh? I suddenly murmured. Next thing I knew, I was in my apartment, sitting in front of the kotatsu.
どうしたのトールちゃん。
Next to me, Saki tilted her head. Her textbooks and notebooks were splayed out on the table. Something just seems weird. Also, you don't normally call me... Yeah. Oh, God. How was I doing this? The thought rolled around my mind, but...
何私どっかおかしいかな
No, it's not that.
じゃあどういう意味もしかしてまた意地悪でも言ってるのかしら
Why would you... Why would you... It's not me being mean, it's... What was it? Even though I was certain something weird was going on, I had no idea what it was. If I didn't know, then that was fine. Or so I had convinced myself. Well, whatever. Saki, this answer's wrong. Yep, now we're doing this. I pointed to something that Saki had written in her notebook. The same one I had been looking at just a second ago. That's right, I'd been helping Saki with her studies.
どこが違うのかしら
This equation's a trick question where you're supposed to use this formula. And I hate equations and shit. I pointed at the air with my mechanical pencil, but Saki tilted her head in obvious confusion. Do you still not understand?
さっぱりわからないんだけど
That's okay, Saki. I get you. I know. I understand. It's, math's dumb. In silence, I pointed to the formula she was supposed to use, and the X and Y being used this time. So this is substituted here. If you expand this, then you get this, right?
ちょっと待って私のわかる言葉日本語でお願いします
I've been explaining in Japanese, haven't I? Well, you know. And why was she speaking so formally?
E イコール MC 事情とか日本語じゃないと思わないほら日本語で説明してみて
I mean, that's basically what I'm trying to explain to her. You know? Symbols can't be helped. And I didn't use this one just now. So with this problem, you could do this here and then this. I solved the problem, explaining it all as I went along. Next to me, Saki watched and nodded. So the answer is 4 1/3. Yeah, you understand?
なんとかわかったと思う
That's a no. Then try solving the problem below that one. I pointed to the problem that used the exact same formula. All she had to do was solve it like the last one. I looked at my own assignment. It was English translation, so I couldn't do it even as I helped Saki. Or I could do it as I helped Saki with hers. Next to me, Saki was puzzling over the problem to an almost comical extent. Saki-san, you said you understood, didn't you?
だってそれはこっちの問題のことじゃない
Saki said with an incredibly serious face. I had known this would probably happen, but that didn't mean I knew what to do about it. In short, we had a rocky road ahead, and I like rocky road. Saki, you're gonna flunk at this rate, okay?
いやそれは数学が悪いのよトールちゃんだって古文とか嫌いじゃない
Hey, don't bring up what I hate. Yeah, I hate it, and I'm bad at it. But that's not the point. When I looked up from the set of problems, Saki's face was right in front of my eyes. What are you doing?
トールちゃんの顔を見てたのよ。
Oh my lord. Saki smiled. Her shampoo smelled good, and if I moved my face just a bit closer, I'd be able to kiss her. I found myself thinking, oh.
トールちゃん、何するのよ。
I put my finger against Saki's forehead and pushed her face away. That was close. I didn't know what I would have ended up doing if we remained at that distance. Because, most visual novel protagonists don't have some sort of thing in their brain that tells them to resist. Even though he kind of does a lot of resisting. Even if you complain, the exam won't go away. They'll stick with you with extra classes if you flunk the final. People rarely failed at Tsukyu, but instead there were remedial classes and supplementary lectures. Of course, those classes made use of the summer, winter, and spring breaks between semesters.
もしもよ、理系で赤点取ったら、トールちゃんとクリスマスを過ごせなくなっちゃうかしら。
Oh, say yes, and then she'll work her butt off. Maybe, depending on your remedial class schedule. Christmas was during winter break, and the supplementary classes schedules usually didn't take holidays into account. That's pretty fucked up. And if she had to redo all of her math and science classes, she might as well not even have a winter break.
仕方ない。頑張るわ。
Oh, you hear that in the voice? Alright, do your best. And let's start from here to here on this page. You can find most of the formulas from page 170 to page 177 in the textbook. And I hate math.
よし。
Saki gave a small fist bump and started on the set of problems. I returned to my own assignment. So you just tell her, you can't spend time with me if you fuck this up. And it's like, oh. Okay. A full 30 minutes later, I took a break from my English translations and looked at Saki's answers again. However, this is terrible. Wow. I had expected as much, but I never would have imagined it would be this bad with her having a textbook in hand and problems that weren't word problems. Saki, I always study with you before exams, right?
そうね。
With her feet still under the kotatsu, she was lying limp like a cat. Seeming to have used up all her willpower, there was no strength in her reply. Feeling a headache come on, I looked over her problems. Saki was earnest, so she had taken notes on the formulas she'd used along the way, and had marked the parts she didn't understand with question marks. So it was easy to tell that she didn't understand and how she had gotten it all wrong. I suddenly looked at Saki. She was lying on her side, and I noticed that all of the sitting had hiked up her skirt. We've seen all that. Simply put, her butt was in plain view. Saki, I could see your panties.
その手には乗らないよ。今日はズボンだからそう言って意地悪してるんでしょ。
You came here the other day wearing shorts, didn't you? Meaning today it was a skirt. Okay, that was an adorable reaction. Saki leapt up and scuttled away from the kotatsu. Didn't you pretty much show them to me?
見せてなんてない。そんなつもりなかったわよ。
As if she's just slinking away. Saki went red, complete with tears in her eyes. Though she was holding down her skirt as she looked at me, since she had backed out of the kotatsu, I could see her panties from the front in between her legs. Should I tell her that? No. Saki regularly had moments where she was completely defenseless. For now, just come back here. Exams weren't tomorrow or the next day, but it wasn't like we had an indefinite amount of time either. Or infinite amount of time. Why did I say indefinite? That means for sure. Well, you know what I mean. I had to drive at least enough math into her head so she wouldn't flunk. Come back, slink slowly back. Still with tears in her eyes, Saki warily came back a little bit at a time. What? Just then the doorbell suddenly rang. Who the fuck? Who could be here at this hour? I'm gonna give him a piece of my mind. After a few rings, the doorknob made a sound as if I was trying to get out of the kotatsu. Of course, that was the sound of the door being unlocked, and while I was still in a semi-crouching position, you could also call it me being on guard, the door flung open, and it's probably Takahara-san. Yep, Jesus Christ.
間違いは起きてないみたいですね。
Looks like a mistake. Those were Takahara-san's first words as she opened the door and looked around the room. You barge in here without permission? And that's the first thing you say! Saki left the kotatsu and put some distance between us, but the angle was such that I could see her panties. And I was in a semi-crouching position. Seeing this, Takahara-san gave a nod.
2時間。いえ、3時間くらいしたらまた来ますね。
Alright. Oh, she waved and turned to leave the apartment. Wait. What is it you have the wrong idea about? Huh?
何って、いい加減内藤くんがお嬢様を押し倒そうとしたのかと思ったんですが。
Finally. Yeah, I know you're going for it.
押した
Saki's face went all red at once. Takahara-san, you're supposedly Saki's caregiver and her father's subordinate, aren't you?
だからこそです。お嬢様が内藤くん以外の男とうまくいくわけがないじゃないですか。だったら、とっとと逃がさないように捕まえておくべきでしょ。
Monk ass. Takahara-san's face was so full of confidence that there was nothing I could say in response. But with her panties still visible, Saki looked at me with a gaze that made her look like she had a lot to say. Was Saki always this defenseless? For starters, didn't she usually call me... Wait, yeah, see? I knew it was coming. For just a moment, my vision went dark. What nonsense was I spouting? Things had always been like this. Not considering Takahara-san's behavior... Or Saki not calling us Nissan, like the car, or anything. But Takahara-san, what are you doing here? Don't tell me it was really to check on that.
差し入れとお手伝いに。お嬢様の勉強を見ながら自分の勉強ができるとも思えませんから。
トールちゃん、なんでそこでそんな深刻そうな顔するのよ。
By the way, Takahara-san was what you might call a prodigy who studied abroad instead of graduating from National University. I had her teach me subjects I was bad at before, and the reason Saki had never been held back in school was basically because of Takahara-san. The way Saki looked at and took notes on the formulas and parts she didn't understand was one of the fruits of that. Saki is perfectly good at arts, but...
人は誰しも得て増えてはありますからね。
That's true. And mine is math. I hate math. Despite all this, in contemporary and classical literature and subjects related to history or practical skills, she had overwhelmingly better grades than me. But when it came to math and science, I'm a big old nerd, so she was at the sort of level that would cause a regular home tutor to run away screaming.
頑張る。大丈夫ですよ。
Takahara-san looked at her with kind eyes as though she looking at a small child. She placed the paper bag she had brought in the kitchen.
それじゃあ、私の持ってきた課題がきちんとできたらケーキをいただきましょうか。
Oh, I love cake.
できないと食べられないんですね。
苦労もせずに得られるものはありません。
Saki sounds like 15 times more adorable. Takahara-san stated flat out, and Saki hung her head.
頑張ります。
Saki said with renewed determination. That did not sound... She loved cake. Yeah, she did. Didn't I have to, like, buy her so much cake in Yoyoi's route to calm her down? But would she be able to do the challenges? We'll see. And so, she did the
それ
things.
では課題その1。内藤君をどうにか押し倒してください。
Oh, this is... What are you saying?
そうですよ、高原さん。何言ってるんです だいたいどうして押し倒すとかそんな話になってるんですか？
正直今いい雰囲気だったのを私が邪魔をしてしまった罪滅ぼしと言いますか。
Good mood. We were just kind of existing. That was a misunderstanding on your part.
そうですよ。トールちゃんが私のパンツ見ただけですし。
God damn it.
内藤君、本当に勘違いなんですか？
Yes. Yes, it was. When I told her that firmly, Tagara-san seemed to take that into consideration with a serious expression on her face.
あまりにそばにいすぎて烈状を催さなくなってしまったとか。
Oh, that is a big old negatory right there. No, that's not it either, so don't worry. Apparently not understanding, Saki tilted her head.
じゃあどうして襲わないんですか？
Oh my god. I'm not some beast that only thinks below the waist, alright?
そうですよ。だいたいトールちゃんとキスもまだしたことないのに。
Eh? Takahara-san froze completely. Eh? What the hell? What kind of reaction was that?
内藤君、まさか本当にないんですか？
Okay, I won't tell you we really haven't kissed. We haven't. And why are you asking me? Though we'd had countless instances of indirect kisses. You know, spoons, straws, chopsticks, and the like.
お嬢様がここに泊まっていくこと今まで何度もありましたよね。それでも
We haven't, no.
寝てるところにいたずらしたりいやらしいことはしなかったんですか？
While she was asleep. That's just... No, I haven't. What are you saying?
そうですよ。トールちゃんはそんな卑怯なことはしないもの。
Even though he kind of is a coward all the time. Saki said with a pout, but Takahara-san didn't look convinced in the least.
なんでですか？身内びいきになりますけどお嬢様可愛いですよね。
Oh, well, yeah. She's essentially a prototype Michiru from Chrono Clock. Which, by the way, I'm having to re-upload because... Well, I only bring it up because I'm having to re-upload it because YouTube doesn't like a certain site that I had in the description of it that you could have gotten the game. And they brought down all videos with said link. So, I'm re-uploading that. But yeah, so... Michiru's fucking cute as hell, and Saki's cute as hell too, because she's the prototype, so I won't deny it.
最近胸だって大きくなったし体つきだって女らしくなってるでしょ。なんで何もしてないんですか？
Yeah, just embarrass her, why don't you? No offense to Takahara-san and her passionate declaration, but to be perfectly honest,
実はしたんですね。
no. And as for me not attacking her when she's asleep, if I was going to do something, why would I have to be sneaky about it?
まあ確かに堂々と襲えばいいだけの話ですし。
胸とか触られるのは恥ずかしいってば。
This is...
嫌ですか？
Well...
そういうわけでも。
Oh my god. Well, you're not like out of the blue. Takahara-san seemed to understand, but she had an incredibly detached look in her eyes as she nodded.
言わんとすることは分かりました。確かにいつでも食べられるならがっつく必要もないと。
Yeah, see? This is the best phrase you'll ever hear. That's not what I'm thinking. I just felt like there was some sort of deterrent when I came close to making a move on Saki. Not caring about what I was thinking, Takahara-san turned to Saki.
お嬢様は何もしてないんですか？
What? Oh, you mean like her making a move?
何もって何を？
I mean, she showed me her underwear the other day, or, you know, but that was just That was like actual reality, not.
いや内藤君が寝ているところにキスをしたりとかそれ以上でもいいんですけど何かしていないんですか？
Grabs her, shaking her. Have you done anything? Saki's face turned bright red. Saki? Don't tell me she actually did something and I just didn't notice.
したいと思ったことはあるけど。
So she didn't do anything. Just as I was beginning to feel a little relieved.
でも、そんなことすると赤ちゃんできちゃうし。
Oh my god. How far are you planning on going?
でも、だって、したいって思っても我慢してるんだからいいじゃない。
内藤君女の子にここまで言わせて恥ずかしくないんですか？あ、お嬢様否認は別にしなくてもいいと社長がおっしゃってましたので。
As an adult, you should be against that. Why would that be okay? We're still students, you know.
さっきも言いましたけどお嬢様が他の男相手にうまくいくと思ってるんですか？内
That's
藤君ならまあ及第点ではありますし足りない分を仕込むなら早いうちがいいと社長とも見解が一致しましたから。
breed me into the groom me into the man I'm supposed to be. Saki silently fidgeted next to Takahara-san. I was so embarrassed that I couldn't even look at her properly.
それでは今日はおめでたい日になりそうですし。
Takahara-san began to get up. With a serious look, she gave me a thumbs up. Wait. Are you saying it's okay if I make some sort of mistake? No, you intend me to.
あは確かにキスもしてない童貞ですし間違えてしまう可能性もありそうですね。
I don't mean that sort of mistake.
内藤君本当に子作りのやり方分かってますか？
You're telling me to explain that in front of Saki?
どうせこの後実行するくせに何がかまととぶってるんですか？
Coy about what?
大丈夫よ、トールちゃん。私だって子供じゃないんだし、そういうの分かってるから。
God, I'd hope so at our age of 18. Saki's face turned a bright red. There was a storm of conflicting emotions within me. I didn't know whether I should be relieved or wonder when she had acquired that knowledge.
ほほうなるほどお嬢様。ではどうすると子供ができるんですか？
Alright, I'm an expert on this one. So, you're going to ask that now?
まさかコウノトリとかキャベツとか言い出したらどうするんですか？
That'd be pretty amazing. I wouldn't lie.
さすがの内藤君でもそんな無垢な相手を騙して少女を散らすのは気がとがめるでしょ？
Choose your words more carefully. Or were those already carefully chosen? When I thought of the kiss and such that we had been talking about, a very bad feeling came over me.
さすがにそれは小さな子供に説明する時の嘘だっていうのも知ってますよ。
This time I was truly relieved. Wait, no, I wasn't. I knew this didn't change the situation at all.
愛する二人がキスをした時に舌を深く入れて子供が欲しいと思うとできるんですよね。
Saki said proudly with her fists clenched.
よしわかりました。
I understand the severity of the situation. Takahara-san put her hands on the tabletop.
内藤君の好きなジャンルで構いません。今から AV 借りに行きますよ。
Alright, I'm down. Wait, whatever genre? Can I get into that weird diaper shit? That Scott Jerkoff is into? Where'd that come from?
お嬢様に似てる女優を探さなくていいと言ってるんです。むしろそれにこだわるといわゆるロリータ系になりかねませんし。
Oh, hold on there. We need to talk about what we need to get into. Why do you know this?
ロリータって そんな服あまり持ってませんけど、トールちゃんってそういうのが好きなの？
Saki, you're misunderstanding in a big way. But it's fine if you don't know.
だけど無修正の方が。
Nah. We need fully uncensored. She needs to see how it's done. Are you serious?
そうですよ、高原さん。それに子供なんて。
Well, yeah, baby. No go on the baby right now, but
時にお嬢様、世の中の恋人同士のエッチをする、セックスをするという行為は分かってますか？
oh man, I want to hear this.
胸を触ったり、裸で一緒に寝たり。
車を回します。いや、それも手ぬるい。内藤君、持っている DVD を出しなさい、早く。
no, that take too long. What kind of harassment is this?
彼女と一緒に AV 見るのなんてご褒美じゃないんですか？
I guess. I don't. That would be torture.
我慢しないで、その後自分でも実行すればいいじゃないですか。相手はいるんですし。
Even if it's weird shit. Wait a minute here.
なるほど。私がものを知らないからトールちゃんを困らせてるところまでは理解できたわ。
I got the feeling Saki was going to say something stupid again.
なのでトールちゃん、高原さんの言ってたそれを私にも見せてちょうだい。
No way. Actually, you should let us study for our exams.
これも立派な人生勉強ですよ、お嬢様の。
What about me?
いい加減覚悟決めてもいい頃かと。
大丈夫、トールちゃんのことは信じてるから。
Saki said, looking straight at me. Her gaze was so direct that I couldn't look away.
DVD を出さないのなら3人で実地研修させますよ。
Oh. Hey.
3人って高原さんも？
Hold on, let's.
2人に実際に教えてあげます。
What do you mean? We need to calm down. Hold on there. Again, where did that come from?
お嬢様一人にきちんとミサを立てたければ素直になることですね。
That's the worst threat I've ever heard. In more ways than one.
大丈夫、私どんなことでもトールちゃん相手なら大丈夫だから。
I'm telling you, it's not okay.
本音は？
Lately, there are times when it's hard for me to hold back, so please have mercy on me. Hearing my meek reply, Takahara-san doubled down.
もういいから押し倒せ。どうしてもって言うならこれ使ってもいいですから。
Use what? With that, she handed me one of the most famous personal massagers in the world. Where did you grab that from? Honestly, it brought a tear to my eye. I love the crazy ass dream world shit, dude. It's always so funny to me. It's so silly. Dude, Saki's shit's not, we're not even in the route itself yet, and it's already great, so I can't wait to see more.